Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this sixth and final section of the paper on crisis in Islamic economics, we explain how this crisis actually represents a golden opportunity for us. So here's a brief outline of this talk, that the global financial crisis made the failure of economics obvious for everybody, and the modern economics is built on foundations which cannot be changed to accommodate the problems. And massive challenges face humanity on every front today, and the only solutions lie in Islam. And so we have the opportunity and the responsibility to launch a revolution along the same lines that Islam launched a revolution 14 centuries ago. So the first point to realize is that everyone is very unhappy with modern economic theory. The Queen of England went to London School of Economics to ask economists why did no one see it coming, and no one had an answer. The US Congress appointed a committee to investigate the failure of economic theory. In the mandate of the committee, it says that not only did economic theory not warn us, but actually people who were warning us and economists were saying, no, this cannot happen. In a prepared statement by Solow in front of this committee to investigate the failure of economics, Solow said that a thoughtful person thinking about the basis of the economic policy which is currently being done would think that he is on Mars, not on Earth. Many very top-notch economists have admitted that there is a serious problem. So Krugman said that the profession as a whole went astray. Solow said that Lucas and Sargent, the leading macroeconomists, they are like madmen. Their theories are completely crazy and should not even be taken seriously. Paul Romer said, who was actually a disciple of Lucas and Sargent, became disenchanted and said that macro theories are just completely at variance with reality. Olivier Blanchard, who is a famous economist, chief economist at IMF, he says that modern macro makes assumptions which are profoundly at odds, not just wrong, but they are very, very diametrically opposite to what we know about consumers and firms. There are many movements for reform of economics because of these considerations, but what I would like to say is that there are some fundamental assumptions shared by Western intellectual tradition which mean that real solutions are out of the range of anything that they can think of. The methodology which is currently in use in economics is bizarre. It's based on the idea that economics is a science and it should consist of universal laws which are valid at all times for all places and all cultures, and this is simply impossible. So very often economic theories run into conflict with facts, and now they believe that this is irrelevant. What Milton Friedman has said, and this has become widely accepted, is that the axioms of economics don't have to have any match with reality, and in fact they can be wildly inaccurate, and the more inaccurate they are, the better the theory. Because of this, the theories currently in use in economics are just dramatically wrong on every front. The micro theory says that people maximize utility, but behavioral economists who study actual behavior say that nonsense. Firm theorists say that firms maximize profits, but real people who study real firms say this is not true. Similarly, the idea that the price is generated as an equilibrium of supply and demand, this is not true. There are different mechanisms which determine the price. Similarly, economic theory teaches us about the neutrality of money, the quantity theory, which means that banking and finance don't make any difference in macro. So Steve Keen has said that somebody who tries to analyze capital while leaving out banks' money and debt is like a person who's studying bird flight without knowing that birds have wings. Deep problems arise from the way that the Western intellectual tradition took a wrong turn due to the trauma of loss of faith. They rejected the ruh, the qalb, and the nafs as sources of knowledge and rely only on the aql. And the theories they have developed have massive amounts of inertia. The whole body of knowledge is represented in one way, and to think of radically different, to go outside of the box is virtually impossible. In addition to these, the theories that economics use are supportive of the current knowledge structures, current power structures, and they are very strongly supported by this. So here again, Islam offers an alternative because it offers us a way to integrate the insights of the ruh and the qalb and the soul. Because of these disastrously wrong theories of knowledge which are dominant in the Western intellectual tradition, we have challenges facing humanity in every dimension of our existence. There is an environmental crisis in which land, sea, air, everything is polluted. Millions of species of plants and animals have been destroyed. The polar ice caps are melting, and the forest, lakes, coral reefs, all of the structures of the planet which support life are being destroyed. So in fact, human life on the planet is under threat. We have political crises, continuous wars, trade wars, millions of lives destroyed, entire countries destroyed just in the naked pursuit of power. There is injustice, oppression all over the world. Economics theories support the massive and increasing inequality because it feeds into the existing power structures. It enables the rich to get richer and more powerful. At the same time, it says that the whole problem is scarcity. And so it doesn't say that actually the current planetary resources are far more than enough to feed everybody, house, clothe, educate, provide health. But instead of recognizing this, which is the simple truth, economics says, no, don't look at the resources that the wealthy have. The problem really lies in not enough resources, which is blatantly false. We face social crisis because economics is based on Darwinian theories of competition and greed and individualism and hedonism. So this leads to breakdown of families and communities and our sense of connection with the humanity and the universe. This prevents spiritual progress, and this contains toxic messages for our soul. We face a personal crisis as capitalism teaches us to become human resources instead of human beings, and it teaches us to make the goal of life the pursuit of money, power, luxury, prestige, career, none of which are really the purpose of our lives. And every human being has infinite potential, and learning to realize that potential, learning who we are, what we can become, this is concealed from us and hidden from us. So the message of Islam offers us revolutionary solutions on all the fronts on which we are currently facing crises. Very briefly, I will outline 7 revolutionary messages of Islam which have no counterpart in Western teachings and not part of our syllabus or curriculum which comes from the West. One is that it's all about excellence in conduct, how to be the best in behavior, how to follow our Prophet ﷺ, who was the model of perfect behavior. And he came as the mercy to all mankind. And so we must also have the welfare of all mankind. None of this nations fighting against nations. Allah Ta'ala teaches us that we are all one family. And all of the creation is the family of God. The animals and all of the earth has been given to us as a trust to hold for our future generations. Power has been given to us to help the oppressed, not to be part of the oppression. And wealth is given to us so that we can help those in need. The leader of the nation is the servant of the people. And the way to get near to God is to provide service to the creation of God. So all of these messages are radically different from what we are currently being taught in our schools and universities. Because the message of Islam is completely unfamiliar, completely unknown, and completely and dramatically opposed to what the West is teaching us, this gives us a golden opportunity to rebuild the social sciences on an entirely new basis. Social sciences is just about how to live as human beings and as society. Circumstances today resemble very closely the pre-Islamic Jahiliyyah. A few handful of people are flaunting their luxury in the face of poverty. Continuously wars are taking place for power without any regard for the lives being killed. Leaders boast about killing and murder leaders of nations. Corporations routinely do things which take lives of, like Nestle is selling milk powder for babies, killing babies for profits. All of this, the root cause of this is that no food is given to the spirit, so we are spiritually stunted. People don't understand what it means to be spiritually advanced and to be able to sense the pain of others. Exactly in similar situations, Islam launched a revolution 14 centuries ago, and the basic revolution of Islam is a revolution of knowledge. The first message, the Quran starts with the first wahi is Iqra bismi rabbika allazi khalaq khalaqal insana min alaq Iqra wa rabbukal allam allazi allama bil qalam allama al insana ma lam ya'lam. So at the very beginning, Allah Ta'ala is talking about the knowledge which is to be given to mankind, and this knowledge will change the world. And today the Muslims are the inheritors of the knowledge, but the problem is that Islam came as a stranger and has become a stranger. And the prophecy was that we will follow the ways of the Jews and the Christians, and this is what we are doing today. We are imitating the West without understanding that Islam offers us a revolutionary path to create change. So we conclude with a prayer to Allah that Allah Ta'ala has promised us that if we struggle to, in His pathways, to try to create, to bring the deen of Islam into our lives and into the lives of the world, Allah Ta'ala Himself will guide us to His pathways. And that is the hope that we have in building a revolutionary knowledge for the future of mankind.